Hi guys, welcome to two Primis in a pod. This is Mahima, and it's just one Primi in this podcast today because Rishita's on holiday. Rishita's in Ireland, so I decided to do this podcast by myself, and I wanted to dive into this topic of feeling lost, feeling like you're going through an identity crisis in your mid 20s, because I think there are loads of us in the same boat who are feeling this way. So I decided why not dive into this topic. So, what exactly does one mean when they say they're feeling lost, they're going through an identity crisis? I'll tell you what I feel or what I mean by when I say that I'm feeling lost or I'm just feeling like I'm not relating to the identity that I thought I had. So, what I mean by that is there were many activities that I enjoyed as a teenager, as a 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old, and that became a very big part of my identity. Now, I'm 24, going to be 25 next week, and started to realize that the activities I thought I enjoyed, well, I most certainly did enjoy as a teenager and as a 21 year old, I'm really not starting to enjoy those activities. Now, while I'm aware that I do not enjoy those activities that I used to, I still don't know what activities I do enjoy, which is why we call this an identity crisis, because the identity you had for a substantial amount of time, you're starting to not resonate with it, but you're not really resonating, or you don't know what your new identity is. You're kind of stuck in the middle. So this is a basic explanation of what I mean when I say I feel lost. Now let's talk about the challenges and questions that may come to your mind if you're feeling lost. I'll tell you mine. I find it hard to stick to one thing, um, because you're always thinking that the next thing you could do would be better, or you're seeing other people do this thing that they found success in, and you're like, oh, you know what, let's leave this and do that. And I think especially seeing your peers achieve milestones in business, career, family life, or just something else, I think it makes you question as to what is it that you are doing, like what have you achieved yet. You start that comparison in your head unknowingly, which um, which I think is a very important thing to talk about, which we will dive into later. And I think all of this basically makes you end up questioning your entire existence. Like, if they're doing this, what am I doing? This whole cycle continues. Some other challenges could include not liking what you do currently, not because someone else is doing better, but the person you were as, let's say, an 18-year-old who chose to do this degree. Um, Now the 24-year-old thinks that, oh, now I don't really want to do this. I don't feel like I connect to this on that level as I used to. So you might also think that it's time for a shift in career because you don't really like what you do anymore, which leads to the whole process again. So, like, what do I do? Do I study again? Do I get a degree again? What exactly is it that you do while maintaining your current career? And if you're working 40 hours a week, the free time that you have is basically to exercise, make food, meet friends. So how can you juggle a whole new career, a whole new path, while living the life you're currently living. I'd like to share a story that's personal in regards to this whole feeling lost and not really knowing what your identity is. With me, as a teenager, as as a 21 year old, a lot of my activities were like going out with friends, having a huge social life, um, making random new friends in like bars, and being very impulsive and sometimes reckless, and just being a all general loud and active person and always up to doing things. And now my life has changed, my circumstances have changed, I've literally moved countries, so life isn't going to be the same. I'm not going to be the same. So that's that's where I this is how I come to realize that, yeah, like my identity is slowly shifting. I'm not that extra loud, um, impulsive and adventurous person that I used to be. I mean, I still am impulsive. I can be um, loud and all of those things with the people I'm comfortable with, but it has to be people I'm comfortable with. I can't just do that with anyone now. It has to be like the circle that I know that I love them, they love me, there's no judgment involved, you know. So now I seek that in people instead of, just having going out in common or drinking or partying or just any other habit that I don't do anymore. I think as you grow old, your hobbies start to change, your interests start to change, and one thing I've realized is that being a teenager, being an outgoing teenager, and being outgoing in your early 20s, it's like being on a drug. And as you grow old, that wears off. So right now, you're like living the after effects of it. For example, when I go out now, I still think that, oh wow, it's gonna be a hell lot of fun, like how it used to be when I was like 19. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be such an adventurous night, and that's what I crave for. But when I do go out, it's pretty much the opposite. I don't have more than 3 drinks, and I'm not as loud or chaotic. I do my own thing. I am enjoying, but in a different way. But before you go out for these plans, you have this whole different idea of what it's going to be, and when you go there, it's completely different, which isn't a bad thing, so to say, but it just makes you aware that what you think before a social interaction or anything, you're still thinking from the identity of your 19-year-old self, you know? And then when you actually go out and you don't do the things that the 19-year-old would do, it makes you think that now circumstances have changed, like some things have shifted, and you don't necessarily relate to the 19-year-old self anymore. Maybe you do in some parts, like some things of your own self are not changeable, but some things are. For example, earlier, when I didn't have much responsibilities, I used to get a very intense workout in. I didn't really prioritize rest because I didn't really need so much rest. I wasn't working so much anyway. For me, it was like, okay, last minute plans, let's go. No planning needed, nothing. Let's just go. Yes to everything. And now I take a step back. I'm like, is this plan, or is whatever the situation is, do I want to do it? Is there something else that I could rather be doing? um will I have enough time to rest after it? All these things. And now what's changed is that I enjoy going for walks. I used to earlier not like going for walks, but now with my headphones on, I'm like, yeah, this is fun. This is so relaxing. You're getting fresh air. And I started playing sports. I play badminton, and I don't do like hardcore intense workouts like I used to do, like heavy weights and everything. I take it slow. And I also enjoy yoga now, which is low intensity, clears your mind up. And I'm sure there are such examples that you could think of yourself as well, that I used to enjoy these things and now I think I'm starting to get into these things. Or you might not have reached that level of awareness yet that this is what you may like, but you may already be doing it. You just don't know that you like it. So this is something that you could think about. A tip that would help you in figuring out what is it that the new you likes is just asking yourself if what you're doing brings you peace. Just ask yourself, think of this activity, this job, or whatever, and does the thought of it give you peace? Then that's what you like. That's what the new you likes. And you could try thinking of some activities your old you used to do. You might not find peace in it, or you might. Most probably you won't, because you're not that person anymore. So I think that's how you know that this is your new path, you know. A very important thing in your mid 20s would be your career. Now, the pressure of having your career set at the age of 24, 25, 26 is real. I feel it. And I think it could be that your career right now is a decision you made based on what you thought you'd like as an 18-year-old. And it's very much possible that what you thought you'd like, you don't like anymore, because you're constantly evolving, and I don't think it's possible to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at the mere age of 18, or whenever you made the choice to choose your degree. I think people who change their careers a lot, who try different things, receive a lot of flack for being confused, indecisive, or whatever. But I think it's so commendable to try out new things despite having this pressure of having your career set at the age of 24, 25, and ignoring the people who are telling you that what are you doing, settle down. And you know so I don't necessarily think that switching careers until you find what you like is a bad thing. I think you're really helping your future self in discovering what you really want to do, and your future self will definitely thank you for it. So if you're in the middle of shifting careers or deciding what to do, then you're not alone. There are lots of people in the same boat, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't give in to the pressures of society. Relationships and friendships start to change in your mid 20s, because that's the age where everyone starts to you know go into their own direction, what they want to do. and makes you think that like someone right now could be doing their bachelor's, someone could be working a job, someone could be in their family business and running a huge company, someone's just got married, or someone's already married and they have a kid, and those friendships are not the same anymore, right? And that's why I think you should enjoy your friendships and your relationships to the fullest when you're in your teenage and 20s, because after that you're not going to get the same chance to enjoy friendships the same way. In a different way, yes, but not the same way, because priorities change, geographically people just shift to places, and it's not possible to always stay in touch. So, oh, this in particular can be a tough time for some people, including myself. Seeing people, doing their own thing, even though I'm doing my own thing as well, but just seeing that the relationship isn't the same, maybe it never will be, and just knowing that it's not going to be the same. I think it's very tough. I don't think we talk enough about this, and we just move on like nothing's happened, but I think this is a very tough period to be in. And while it's tough for me as well, i've I've started to accept things for how they are, appreciate what I have in this given moment, because 5 years down the line I might think that, oh, when I was 24, 25, this was so amazing, and right now I might not think that. So I think it's always important to appreciate and be grateful for what you have right now, and also manage your expectations with people, because now as their priorities change, um, their behavior towards you might change, the time they give to you might change. So you need to be aware and manage your expectations accordingly. Your mental health could be taking a huge blow during this transition, and it may be very hard to come out of it. Of course, you can accept it, manage your expectations, and be grateful, but another thing, actually, another few more things that you could do would be seeking therapy. I think it'll help you understand what is it that you're so sad about. It could be the comfort of people that you had, or just so many other things that your therapist will be able to dig out and help you understand why is it that you feel this, why do you feel so affected by this big change in someone else's life, because it is impacting you. Another thing that I advise is to maintain friendships that you can, despite any geographical distance. You can reach out to family members, you can reach out to your friends who you've not seen in years, and trust me, you'll feel really good when you do that. I recently spoke to a friend of mine after like 4 or 5 months, and we had a really nice conversation, and we were actually in the same boat of life, and just knowing that there is someone else feeling the same way really helps you. I think I felt so happy after our phone call that day, because even though we're in two different continents, but you still feel that connect, with someone, and then you can give advice, they can give advice, but there's someone with you, and we're social animals. So we we need someone who's who's going to understand what you're going through. So definitely go and reach out to the friends you've not spoken to in ages. If they don't reciprocate your energy, then let it be. But um, at least you tried, and there is also a high chance that they do reciprocate your energy, because as I said, we're all in the same boat. All you need is to take that one chance, like, that one message, that one WhatsApp. And I think I would also say take care of your physical health. Now our bodies are aging. I wouldn't say aging, but they're growing. Like, you don't have that kind of stamina, energy, flexibility that you had as a teenager. So maintain that by being physically active, eating well, drinking a lot of water, something I've not been doing, and I'm starting to see the consequences of that. So I think all in all is just taking care of your own self. On the outset, it might just sound like the most basics of things that you've heard everywhere that you should do, but you should actually do it, because it's the basics that really will help your foundation, of your own self be strong. So I think these are just the basics, and like, start with the basics. Like, these things are really important. What, like, your health, your mental health, the relationships you have with your friends and family. These are the basics, and then comes, your money and all of that. I think we tend to just forget the three things I just mentioned and chase career, money, and we might even be successful, but what's success without having people to share it with? So yeah, it's really basic, all the things I said. I agree, they're super basic, but we don't do these basic things, and these basic things have amazing results. All in all, I think this period in your life can be super tough, from being a teenager, or in your early 20s, to suddenly being an adult. Like, I still cannot believe I'm gonna be 25 next week. Like, that feels like a number, like a big number, like 25 years more, and I'll be 50. It makes you think, right? So, but don't worry, because, like I said, we're all in the same boat. We're all going through life together, and I think if we only showed everyone else some more kindness, compassion, the world would be such a good place. You would be so happy, you know? And we really don't know what the other person is going through. It could be something way worse than what you would imagine. So I think being kind to someone, even if you don't know them, can go a really long way. And sometimes you have to make decisions that kind of suck in the short term, but your your future self will thank you for such a decision. So think for the long term, but don't miss out on the short term fun. That's something that I'd say. Don't just be so overly vigilant on your future, because you never know what's gonna happen. But I don't also want to say that just forget about your future and just live in the moment. There should be a balance. Strike a balance, and I think we'll get through this. One last thing is, do not compare yourself to other people who make certain parts of their life public. They may have achieved something that's very important to you, maybe a career milestone that you think is so important to have, but maybe it's not to them. Maybe they have different priorities, they have different life goals, and for them, settling down is a milestone. So they may not be as happy about their career milestone, but you are starting to compare yourself to them because they've achieved that, and you're like, oh, I want his life, but you don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So don't compare yourself. Your journey is yours, and just be kind to yourself and others. I think once you're kind to yourself, you'll automatically be kinder to others. And yeah, just don't think you're alone. We're all in this together. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, like and subscribe, please. And let us know if there's something else that we should talk about in our next video that might help you, or there's something that's going on in your mind. Okay, bye.